Here are 5 pitfalls that influence how we spend and could be the reason that you're overspending, coming from a frugal 33-year-old. The first one is peer pressure. We often think of peer pressure as something that is a teenage problem, but many adults struggle with peer pressure. And as an adult, the stakes are higher. For me as a 1K back then when I was a teenager, the pressure was to have branded name clothes. And back then, identity was such a big thing. Having that ID on your shirt, everybody wanted that. I wanted that. But today, our friends are driving Beamers, and the pressure is to also go get a Beamer. But the reality is that we're often surveilling a lifestyle without seeing the behind the scenes. Maybe for your friend, that car might cost them 30% of their income, but for you, it will take up to 80% of your income. Or maybe they're actually drowning in debt trying to keep up appearances. So don't go broke trying to match somebody else's pace. Identify what matters to you. Figure out what you love, figure out what you want, and focus on building that life for yourself instead of building somebody else's dream. Number 2 is the desire to look successful. As you grow in your career and you climb the corporate ladder, your title changes to senior what, head of what lead, data what, and the temptation is to want to look as impressive as our job titles. But wanting to look like you have money is the fastest way to not have any money. And this stems from trying to impress people because we want people to see what we have so they can be impressed with us. I had Morgan Housel ask this question when he was on the Mel Robbins show, which is, would you still want the house that you want? And would you still want the car that you want if nobody could see it? The third one is making up for a hard childhood. You know that catchy sound that people use when they post their BMWs on TikTok? It goes, and the song literally means I had a tough upbringing, so I want a Beamer. And that's what we use to justify ourselves, our background, our tough upbringing. So I was raised by a single mom, and she did her best to take us to a really good school on a teacher's salary. So she couldn't really afford to give us things that were above the necessities, basically. So we never went on vacation when I was a child, like ever, not even one. And now in my adulthood, I'm the one person who loves going away. I have this thing in my head that every year I need to go on at least 2 vacations. If going on a trip on its own or buying a BMW on its own is not a problem. But if left unchecked, making up for a hard childhood can lead to a financially difficult adulthood, especially when we are so pressed that we can't do without them and when we can't afford them. Last one is treating yourself or rewarding yourself. We often use rewarding ourselves as a justification after a long week at work, after a stressful day, and sometimes after a win at work. And there's actually nothing wrong with that, but it's the how we do it. It's the impulsiveness of it that's a problem. Because if you didn't budget for it, if you didn't plan for it, the likelihood is that you're going to be spending money you don't have. The fifth one